On today's show, pedals power kids into the outdoors.
It's a little bumpy.
These junior high students leave school behind to hit the trail. Meet two anglers who find solitude in a strange spot, one of the Midwest's busiest rivers.
Oh!
And we get wild in the kitchen.
Like that.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound. As you can see, still social distancing. How you doing, Bill?
I'm back here, Laura. We start with a story today about junior high school students who try and tackle life outdoors.
Even if it means tackling the trail on the hottest of summer days.
Sometimes outdoor adventure comes from the heart of the big city.
Rowan, Liam, Leif.
And if you ever question the grit of today's teenagers,
You can head to your bikes.
Mounting.
hop on a bike and pedal alongside these kids,
Starting. Oh, crap.
teens on a big-time trek across the Twin Cities.
Woo.
It's a little bumpy, but otherwise it's fine. There's not that much traffic, no.
Caution.
It's fun, yeah. I mean, in the moment, it's not fun, but like afterwards, it's fun.
A 4-day trip
Slowing,
of simple directions.
stopping.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. Different perspective for the students. Get to see the urban area and just feel the freedom of being on the bike.
I think we're 14 miles in right now. We are? I think so. We're going 31 today. So.
Yeah, 31 miles.
See, these riders all attend St. Paul's Great River School.
It's a Montessori school, so we have a lot more independence than regular public schools. We learn the core subjects, but we learn them in different ways.
Take bikes and biking. Great River has a bike shop inside the school. And yes, it's a classroom.
In bike shop, while fixing bikes, we learn about physics and that kind of thing.
And they learn the value of this two-wheeled form of recreation. Exactly why each school student must participate in this spring trip.
7th and 8th graders do it.
Yep.
And yeah, we do it at the end of the year every year.
It's been 5 days, no food and water.
A well-planned trek across town and through the city and regional parks.
I think the main idea of the trip is to learn about yourself and find challenges that you need to overcome.
It's really a big challenge. Yeah, like last year, I didn't think I was gonna make it through the trip.
At 94 degrees, no wind, and pure summer sun, can't blame them.
Being able to be by my friends and talk to them really made it go a lot easier, I think.
Today's pedal ends at Elm Creek Park.
Good job, group 3!
In group camp,
You did it.
Yay.
where the work starts.
B17.
B17. Bingo.
When everyone gets here, they call it the tent crew.
Set up camp. Students will have some free time. Get cook crews going. Campfire, bedtime. That's about it.
Tents for this many kids becomes a task which takes teamwork.
setting up tents and stuff and camping. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun.
I like the camping aspect more than the biking aspect myself, but it's really fun.
Shannon Sykes' shelter pops right up.
We practiced a couple times before we left too, so we know exactly what to do.
All part of Great River School's largest classroom, the Great Outdoors, a trip meant to test minds and bodies.
Definitely, we just biked 31 miles.
So right now I'm good. Tomorrow, that's a different story.
Coming up next, it's a party when these two fish meet the anglers who ply one of the Midwest's busiest rivers.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Minnesota DNR, Coors Light, and by Radco Truck Accessories.
We tackle 4 seasons every year, but I only care about 2, hunting and fishing. Equip your ride for life's adventures with Lear truck caps, ultimate toppers custom fit to your truck. Lear's J-Clamp pocket technology provides a rock-solid fit and clean look. Add Lear's exclusive locker to pack and protect all your gear. Visit your neighborhood Radco store or shop online at radco.com. When your truck looks good, you look good.
One of my favorite things about living in the Twin Cities is that you don't have to travel far to find remote outdoor places. Travis Frank joined a couple of anglers at their favorite fishing hole, and the getaway spot just may surprise you.
This is not for the faint of heart.
That's what makes it special, right?
It is, absolutely.
Steve Boyd likes to fish in wild places. You call this a deer trail, maybe?
I would say some kind of game trail.
For the past 50 years, Dave Kramer has followed Steve down these unlikely trails.
I met him when I was 6 years old in Sunday school, and we've been hanging out ever since.
I can see water. We're close.
Pretty fortunate to have somebody that has your back for that many years and to share the same passions that you have.
Their passion keeps them coming back to this quiet stretch of the Apple River near Somerset, Wisconsin. He's like a fish. Look at him. He's right in the water.
Just like a black Labrador. It's pretty easy getting in here. It's a lot harder getting out.
Beneath a stunning bluff country canopy, Steve guides us to his honey hole.
It's absolutely beautiful. Anytime you can enjoy a wild area or a wild place is something that brings a lot of calm and serenity.
But our serenity doesn't last long.
Oh! Dandy, huh? Sun, as Roland Martin would say right now. A little northern pike. I think that's what I had before too, you know what?
This river flows into the St. Croix. Every species that's in the St. Croix will come up into this river at some point in the year.
Look at there, my friend.
Good job, buddy. Big shoulders on him.
Awesome.
I'm sure people are aware that there's the Apple River, but I don't think that people think because it's a warm water that it's a good fishery.
Or that it's a peaceful place. Just a few bends upstream from Steve's honey hole, the Apple River attracts a different kind of crowd.
Most people think about the Apple, they think of tubing and having a good time.
It's funny because some of the best fishing probably on the Apple River has inner tubes going over it.
Summertime, it's a great, cool place to be.
On water with a rowdy reputation, these anglers find solitude.
When you make a cast, you're not thinking about nothing else than what's on the end of your line. It's just like an energized feeling just hearing the water flowing. There's sections like this that a lot of people don't know about.
Sections of untouched river slicing through granite walls, a short drive from downtown skyscrapers.
St. Paul, Minnesota, it'd be about a 25-minute drive from here. This is a spot you can't find anywhere else unless you go look for them. And they're closer than people think.
Anybody can come out here. All it takes is the energy and the drive and want to do it.
Steve still has the drive, and now he has the desire to reveal the treasures this river provides.
An unknown river has no friends.
Come on! Oh! Ah! That's too much fun. It is.
You got to pass on those legacies to future generations, or else other interests are going to take over and we're going to forget to protect those places.
Places like this wild river, loaded with opportunity and fish, mostly forgotten beneath the shadows of passing inner tubes.
You know, digging up new fishing spots is always part of the adventure. And if you'd like some advice on learning how to do that and finding those secret spots that other folks might not know about, join me this week for the Minnesota Bound podcast, The Story Behind the Stories. I've got a little advice that might just help you out.
That's perfect when you're hungry sitting around.
Still ahead, we get wild in the kitchen. And later, the story behind some pretty famous bison. Do you know where to find them?
Closed captioning brought to you by Alumacraft Boats.
Well, today we're getting wild in the outdoor kitchen and we're cooking up a summer staple, which is sunfish. And I'm excited about this recipe because it's a little bit healthier than the traditional shore lunch.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, cooking over a campfire. We're calling this one fish kebabs.
Instead of shish kebabs.
There you go.
I like it, I like it.
So if you'll notice, we have taken all these beautiful vegetables and just skewered them right on the skewers. But the tricky part is the sunfish. So
okay.
If you notice, I left the skin on, but took the scales off. This way they're not gonna crumble apart on the campfire grill.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So do you have to soak these bamboo sticks before you put them on the grill?
I do. The wooden ones, yes. The metal ones, obviously not. But the wooden ones, that's a good trick. That way they don't burn up over the fire. Before they go on the grill, we're gonna just drizzle a little bit of olive oil over here and then sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on them.
All right.
Perfect. So you notice we have kind of a makeshift campfire here.
Yes.
You don't have to get fancy, it's just functional. So the idea is you get some nice coals underneath, nice flat grilling surface, and we're just gonna place these right on top to get some of that good char flavor. The heat, the smoke. Now the tomatoes are gonna cook first, so I'm gonna put those on the cooler part of the flame.
Okay.
Those don't take as long, but those peppers, those onions, they really need that nice high heat. And then the fish also, we wanna get kind of in that medium heat zone. So we'll go right over here with those guys.
Now I'm noticing you're putting it flesh side down.
We are, because when I flip it, I'm gonna give it just a little bit of glaze.
Okay.
And now we just wait and cook.
So how long does it take to cook the fish versus the vegetables?
It all depends on how hot your coals actually are. The vegetables are gonna take, especially the onions and the peppers, probably about 5 to 7 minutes. Fish, probably about 3 to 5 minutes. But you'll know it's done when you see that nice little char. The vegetables begin to soften and you can smell them.
So now it's time to add a little flavor?
That's right. We're gonna glaze those sunfish. If you want to just brush a little of that, just like a soy ginger glaze. There's a little fresh lemongrass in there. Just like that. Now we're just gonna let that kind of cook through another couple minutes and we should be ready to plate.
Wow. It's a quick recipe.
Quick recipe.
That's perfect when you're hungry sitting around the campfire.
Yeah, and you want to get out and catch more fish, right? So we just took a bed of wild rice pilaf, placed our vegetables on top of that, and then our fish is kind of the icing on the cake.
So there you have it, a healthier way to cook your shore lunch. And thanks, Chef Jim. I am going to dive in here and take a little bite.
Please do. How's that?
Very good. Love the glaze, and always love a healthy vegetable.
There you go.
There you have it, Wild in the Outdoor Kitchen. Now that was tasty. You can find all of our delicious Wild in the Kitchen recipes at mnbound.com.
Straight ahead, a Minnesota-bound classic all about the grand American symbol.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs, Bent Creek Golf Club, Eden Prairie, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota Bound Classic takes us to Custer State Park, the place Ron Shera got very up close and personal with one of North America's most iconic animals.
You're looking at one very large icon of the American West, the bison. They're as massive as the country they represent. It's natural that these giants would thrive in a giant-sized preserve like Custer Park. There's more than 73,000 acres here, with a wide variety of terrain, including miles of rolling prairie, aged rock formations, and a maze of tunnels along the Needles Highway just big enough to squeeze through. Custer Park was discovered and named after the infamous General George Custer, who in 1874 led the first expedition into this region.
And they came in mainly to map out the Black Hills and to see if the rumors of gold were really true.
They were, and along with the Black Hills gold, Custer's crew discovered the natural beauty featuring a unique variety in terrain and climate. Back in 1927, President Calvin Coolidge enjoyed his fishing trips to the park so much that he decided not to return to Washington, and Coolidge moved the White House to the Black Hills.
Came out on a short vacation. He liked the area so much, called Washington, said, move your staff out here. We built a special building called Coolidge Inn to house his staff that was coming, and he basically spent 4 months here and ran the country. Probably wouldn't happen today.
Today, the park looks and feels pretty much the same way that Coolidge and Custer saw it. The vast size and diverse terrain give the wild critters plenty of room to roam. Mule deer are abundant, and also one of the first to check out new areas opened up by recent forest fire. No, it's not a scene from the movie Caddyshack. It's a greeting from the mayor of Prairie Dog Town. The dogs are actually related to the gopher family, and their town is a well-organized ecosystem featuring an underground maze of connected tunnels. But these prairie dogs have grown comfortable with park visitors and have developed a sophisticated and somewhat amusing way to communicate. Check out the prairie dog's warning system. Here's a warning that's pretty obvious. While they may seem somewhat docile, bison have been known to charge. They are territorial and weigh in close to 2,000 pounds. Newborn bison, only a few hours old, quickly acclimate to their new home. The bison survived a brush with extinction around the turn of the century, but today their numbers are up and their future on the prairie is now secure. One of the park's first big supporters was an outdoorsman and author named Badger Clark. Badger was South Dakota's first poet laureate. He built a cabin and actually lived in the park at a place known as Badger's Hole until his death in 1957. Badger hiked and hunted throughout the park. He fished with presidents, and his writings and observations about life and nature were inspired by the park's beauty. Old-timer, my friend, the trails you wend are mostly dim and grassed. Your talk still meanders lazily through the valleys of the past. Here's to knowing a good thing when you find it, Badger.
Pretty iconic animals.
And pretty big too.
They sure are. Well, that does it for us today. We'll be back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors. See you later.
You miss me, Bill?
Always.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.